morning, everyone, and welcome to 2021, the Monday, January 4, 2021 Board of Public Works and Safety. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Evelyn?
Here.
Carlo?
Here.
Courtney?
Here. First business at hand is the approval of the minutes from the Board of Public Works and Safety, December 21st, 2020. Board, do you have any additions or modifications necessary to that meeting minutes? No.
Our granted copy still has Daryl.
I got
his name, but they're taking care of that.
Thanks for Dave. Dave's my guy that always talks.
Yeah. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. And we really have a pretty light agenda today, so we'll invite Nicole Shell up for presentation of PACE Final Awards 213 West 2nd Street. And we also, you want to make an introduction of our new preservation plan?
She's not with me.
Oh, she's not with you? Okay.
Maybe. TV's not turning on. Always have a PowerPoint. Just some before and after pictures for you. Like Mayor Courtney said, the PACE final disbursement is for Tony Steinhardt Jr. 213 West 2nd Street for the amount of $7,500. These are some before pictures. He worked on all of his windows, and they are fully complete. He left out where they had the plans of the original windows from the manufacturer still, and so they were able to restore all of the windows.
That's great.
Nicole, what was that dollar amount?
$7,500.
I drive by there every day. You can not tell them from the original windows that were there. Any questions for Nicole? I'll move that we approve the final payment in the amount of, which is the amount?
$7,500.
$7,500 for 213 West 2nd Street.
I'll second that motion.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Nicole.
Okay, thank you.
All right, board, moving on. Next matter of business are claims.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. Seeing everything appears to be in order, I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I will second David's motion.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Mentioned this is going to be a relatively short meeting. Moving on to Mayor's comments. Or I should ask our Chief of Police if he has anything he'd like to address the board with since he's here. Let's do that first.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
Morning,
you.
Board. Just to follow up on our requested three-way stop at Ross and Highland, I've asked our city attorney, Mr. Jenner, to draft an ordinance for the next meeting to be brought before this board. Again, we ask any residents that live in that area or who travel that area, if you have any concerns or input on it, please let us know. And if we hear nothing that would stop it, then we would hope to have that proposal approved at the next board meeting.
Thank you, Chief. While we're talking about traffic safety, just under my mayor's comments, a couple things. First, I want to thank again Chief Wallace for all the work that went into our SOPs and chief directives and rules and regulations. I believe those were implemented right at the end of the year. Is that correct? After the last Board of Public Works meeting?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So I want to thank everyone there for the work and review that they've done. I mentioned at the last meeting that I've been having conversations with NDOT about traffic safety in a couple of areas. We are still discussing solutions to Hanging Rock Hill, particularly due to continuation of truck traffic up and down Hanging Rock Hill. So they are evaluating weight limits there. They are resistant to a ban on truck traffic on Hanging Rock Hill. And then also on the east end, Chief, I know that you've had quite a few conversations with residents on the east end who are right in the thick of, the new bridge approach and the traffic coming onto East Main Street. And NDOT is evaluating that as well. They've indicated to me that they are developing a crosswalk safety plan for all of the north and south streets that intersect with Main Street. And East Main Street, as you know, has always been, but is even more so now, the new bridge approach for Highway 421. So there's a lot more traffic further east on Main Street than probably has ever been before. But they are intending to have a plan to implement when Beatty Construction returns to finish the project in the spring. And the pedestrian improvements will be implemented alongside the resurfacing of US 421, which they anticipate to begin in mid-April or early May, and is expected to be completed in June, weather permitting. But what this will do is really just draw the attention that there's pedestrians trying to cross Main Street, literally now crossing an even busier portion of Highway 421. We did ask them to evaluate lighting at the intersection of Main Streets, or Main and Jefferson, which is where Highway 421 goes north on Jefferson Street. Because we did have that fatality there a few months ago, we feel that lighting needs to be improved there. They're not making any recommendations now to improve the lighting there, but they're open to having additional conversations. So we're going to continue to work with NDOT. They've been a good partner across our community, and we know that there's still a lot of work we can do this year on traffic safety. That is going to be extremely important focus of ours for 2021 relative to our public safety goals. So it's going to include a lot on traffic safety, but I want to make the board and the community aware of those follow-up conversations with NDOT. We have a lot of work in store for us for 2021, so I'm glad we're off to a good start. I think we've got momentum leading into this year, and I want to thank my board members here for their continued service for the Board of Public Works and Safety, and that's really all I have for this morning. If anybody from the public like to address the board?
I used the new approach on the bridge walk off of Fillmore 1st Street area. Very nice. Safe walking up and down the ramp. Plus, you can also go down the ramp and go on down the Bond Drive if you want. But it's very nice.
So that part is open?
It's open.
Oh, the pedestrian walk is open? Okay.
Yeah, I kicked all the barricades. No, I didn't. Yeah, all the barricades were removed, and I walked across it there. That's very nice.
Did you walk across the tape? Was there were you the very first one?
Well, I don't know. There wasn't any bands playing or anything. I don't know if I was the first one.
Well, that's awesome.
I did walk across it. And the windows are going in the back of the cotton mill off of 1st Street,
Yeah.
and they're real nice. They're all the divided windows, and it gives you that historic look. So What's your opinion?
Since you mentioned the pedestrian walkway on the bridge, other conversation we've been having with NDOT is about Fillmore Alley. Fillmore Alley is a two-way street, and I noticed that they had placed some signage down there, do not enter, and then also some one-way directional signage that's in conflict with our ordinance. So we are also trying to resolve those differences with NDOT now as well. They did it on both sides of Fillmore, both sides of Harrison Street, where Fillmore Alley intersects with Harrison. So we'll get resolution on that, and hopefully it's not causing any inconvenience for anybody. I know they had some concern about, Highway 421 North being stopped, with people turning left off of the bridge, so close to the bridge entrance. So we still need to resolve that, and we're working toward that. Dave, anything from you, sir?
Nope. Everything's fine. Truck traffic on Main Street continues to be big improvement.
Modest,
so-
yeah, thank you. Well, that's going to be a great lead into the work we're going to be doing this spring on resurfacing Main Street with the community crossing grant that we received. And that's only a temporary fix until we receive the actual funding from the federal highway grant that we've applied for. But at least it will extend the useful life of the road for probably another 4 to 5 years while we wait on the federal grant money for major renovation.
Mary, you might explain a little bit on the what's going to happen on Main Street temporarily this spring, as far as the paving is the whole street's not going to be paved, is it?
Well,
Or
I
just
think our Chief of Staff, Minnie McGee, is here, and she is working on all those grant fundings. So let's just go straight to the source.
Okay.
Carlo.
Mr. Carlo. So what we have approved is a product called Liquid Road. It's a two-step process. It will look like a brand new road. It's just not new pavement. So it's a sealer. It's a step between a sealer and new pavement. And we did do it all the way from Jefferson Street, and we'll do it all the way to the top of Hanover Hill, all the way to 62 at both entrances, 256 section and over to the blinker light. So they'll come in, and there'll be some crack sealing that happens before that, but they'll come in and put the sealer down, and then they'll come back and give it a second coat. It's a little thicker product. So yes, it will look like a brand new road, and it will enable us to have all new striping. So all the crosswalks, all the road striping that is normally there, that'll all get done.
okay.
It'll look good. Again, part of that is a strategy to extend the useful life until we can actually get the $5 million grant that we've applied for with federal highway dollars, so we can do a major restoration, in my opinion, of Main Street for that stretch of road. When you look at it, there's literally 13 or 14 lane miles that are affected, even though it's only a 4.5 mile stretch of road. Majority of it's, a large portion of it anyway, is 4 lanes, and also with shoulder work. So there's a lot to do there. It's a big, expensive project. We have the Main Street Steering Committee that's working with our architects on that. Ratio is our architect for redesigning Main Street. But we're also looking at the road conditions all across the community, and we're going to be a lot more sophisticated, I think, in our approach in the future, particularly looking at where are our worst roads, which council districts are they in, how much will it cost to actually start implementing a better amount of budgeting so that we can improve our average PASER rating, so that we can be more targeted, and do the same thing with sidewalks. One of the things that's in our capital improvement plan that we rolled out to city council at the last meeting is engaging a firm for a sidewalk survey, a community-wide sidewalk survey, so that we can put a rating system onto the sidewalks and then have that rating system be distilled down into areas where those sidewalks are the worst condition, and then have that actually be incorporated into the budget so we can take a more targeted approach to sidewalk restoration, but also sidewalk creation. As you know, as our community has grown, and we are certainly more focused on creating multimodal forms of transportation, sidewalks become extremely important. And there are areas where there's a lot of pedestrian and bicycle traffic, for example, where sidewalks don't exist currently. And just through trending, it's become that way, and so we need to be planning for the future and making sure that we're not, spending a nominal amount on sidewalks like we have in the past of $40,000 or $50,000, but our plan is to quadruple that and really have it be based upon a sidewalk rating system. So we're gonna be doing some things a little differently, but it's gonna start out with getting the right information so we can focus on the right areas.
So this project on Main Street, is it like what they used to do, chip and seal? Is a newer version of
Way
chip and
better than
seal,
chip and seal,
Yeah.
way better. The county I know uses chip and seal frequently. This is going to look like a freshly paved road with new striping as well.
Yeah.
It's just part of a maintenance program, frankly. It's not a substitute for milling and asphalting. Chief, you want to
I
address
can
that?
send you a video if you like. It's very similar. It will look like they're coming through to seal and have the big tank that they spray down. This is after the certain pieces have been crack sealed. That will go down into the surface and sort of seal it. And then they come back over and do a full fresh coat. So it's actually a two-step, two-coat process. So it is a thicker product and it's better than a regular seal. But I can send you a video so you can
The
see
goal
how it
there,
works.
Board Member Carlo, was to get another 4 or 5 years worth of use out of the road before we have to mill it down. And because when we get to doing the full Main Street restoration, it's going to be all about the sidewalks, the curbs, the milling, the new asphalt, new striping, new traffic patterns, new crosswalks. It's an extremely comprehensive initiative, but we've got to make sure we can make this road last for another 4 or 5 years first. And that was the beauty of getting a grant at the end of the year from the second round of community crossings, is it's going to allow us to extend that life. And even though we've been expanding our paving all across the community, Main Street has largely been neglected for the past decade. And we know now we need to reinvest for Main Street at least for the next 4 or 5 years before we do the big project.
I know also the sidewalk on 8th Street, nice comments on that, it's starting to look good. That's going to be a nice addition to the hilltop.
Good.
Accessibility, so.
I think it is almost done. I talked to the contractor last week. They were just waiting on one little section left to finish. The only piece that will be outstanding then is the railing that we do on the wall, on the one section where it's lower there in the middle. And we have some really great ideas for that. We're working on, I think it's an opportunity to get maybe some art, public art on the hilltop. So still deciding what that will look like and who we'll work with on that, but I think that'll be a cool finishing to the project.
We've got a project on Clifton Drive that should be starting this year, sidewalk.
Actually, there's 2 projects on the hilltop: a widening of Wilson Avenue, which I believe starts next year. So we'll let Nicole address both of those.
I'm not as familiar with Wilson because Ken Washer leads that project, but I believe it's 2024. But Clifty Drive sidewalks, we have pushed back to 2022, so they will start towards the end of next year.
Yeah.
For funding purposes.
Right. Okay. So we'll have to, both of those are pretty expensive, so our redevelopment commission is involved in helping finance the match portion for those 2. So between Wilson, Clifty, the Stellar projects, particularly the biggest one being Crystal Beach, Main Street, and then again, better planning across the communities from a sidewalk safety crosswalk perspective. We have a lot on our plates relative to improving the community transportation wise. Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Before you adjourn,
There was a lot in that one comment. I'm glad you asked that question or made that statement, because it led into a lot of discussion about safety across the community.
And
Yes.
before you adjourn, I do want to introduce our new historic preservationist. Her name is Brooke Peach, and today is her first day. So for those familiar, I will be stepping down from the historic district side of my duties, and Brooke will be taking those over.
Hi.
Brooke, welcome, and introduce yourself a little bit. This is a very non-intimidating board, as you can see. We want to welcome you to Madison, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Brooke Peach. I'm very honored to be here. My background is in obviously historic preservation. I fell in love with Madison several months back, and it's just, I'm looking so forward to working with each of you on getting some amazing things accomplished and continuing your work. So thank you.
Tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you've been doing.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm originally from Louisiana. I've been living in Tennessee. I owned a business doing historic preservation on private and commercial structures for 10 years. Recently completed a master's in historic preservation. And we moved here. I've been here not quite a week, so I'm excited to be here.
Well, we welcome you and look forward to working with you. And as Nicole said, our goal here, right, is to have enough planning resources because there's so much need for planning all across the community. Nicole has done a great job the last, I think, 5 years now. 5 years working as the historic preservation planner and doing double duty with regards to planning, being our urban planner, city planner. Now with the two of them, it gives us twice the resources to leverage up for planning citywide, as well as keeping our focus on improving and attracting investment in our historic district too.
Welcome to Madison.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, just one second.
Yes,
Just back up. You had brought up some traffic safety issues, so I would like to point out, and thank you, Mr. Carl, for pointing out the truck traffic is better on Main, but I would like to remind everybody that some semi-traffic will be present on Main if there are local deliveries or there are farmers getting to the grain bins down there. So I think a couple weeks ago we stopped 5 trucks, all 5 had either local business or were heading down to there. So I just want to remind our citizens that there will be some semi-traffic on there, but I believe it has greatly improved it. And secondly, you mentioned working with NDOT down on the East End. We did have a concern down there at Main and Baltimore with some semi-traffic turning, still continue to turn south. I know the state, I believe, has put some signage up
they put
there.
signs up.
Folks down there are very happy with that. So it's a work in progress, and I think there's still some fine tuning to do. But I think at the end of the day, hopefully we'll have all that resolved. And one other thing, I would like to welcome Brooke to town. But Green Bay has home field advantage, not your Saints. I noticed you have the Saints mask on, so everything comes through Green Bay, bro.
Thank you.
Dave brought up earlier this year, maybe getting together and working out a system to name the alleys. Because right now we got quite a hodgepodge of names going on, and it might be a good time of year to think about doing that when we're not a lot of business going on. But I think we do need to do that for the 911 calls. I don't care if the alleys are named after whoever, as long as my name's on one of them. I don't care. But I do think we need to do something. Yeah, I think we need to do something in that area. That's something Dave brought up. Could save a lot of confusion, save a lot.
Well, I have to compete with Courtney. Courtney out here, we're on the same
We're on the
block.
same line. That's right.
Okay.
You get first dibs.
All right.
Well, thanks everyone. Tony, do you have anything you want to add to the for the board discussion this morning? Our street superintendent, Tony Sorrells.
Say, Tony's done driving throughout, especially downtown, with the hardship of not having the ladies from the correctional. I think you've done an outstanding job with the lead pickup.
Yeah.
I know your hands were tied, trying to get help, and but just one thing that I've noticed, and I think you've done an outstanding job. So,
I appreciate it, guys. Did a good job.
With limited resources.
As we were talking about the importance of planning, there's 2 other things that are in the works, trash and a water rate survey. Those are also very important things that'll pass through the Board of Public Works and Safety this year. We have seen significant increases in our trash contracts with Rumpke. And then we also have a very significant need for additional capital investment in our water department. So more to come there, but this board will be working with the Tony and Brian both in order to evaluate those studies and make recommendations for City Council. Or if we don't have any additional business, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year.